versus the game. I'm the Minion, and today I'm going to be telling another story of stuff that happened during my wrestling career, I guess. Um, and so Hannah had actually asked about what I had thought of was like my favorite storyline, I guess. And for a little while, I was kind of feuding with, I guess, the top guys, um, kind of faction. They were called Big Time Pain, and it was actually named after um, Big Tapa, who is like the main guy, and he was the champion at the time. It was named after his finishing move, which was called Big Time Pain. Um, it's kind of like how do I say, like like he's going into a power bomb, but gets you up on like one shoulder and starts like doing like a rack. I'll explain it later because it's gonna come up in the story. Um, but basically, what had happened is that I had been feuding with their faction along with um, like my faction, I guess, because I was sort of like a manager kind of thing. There was a group called the Banshees, and it was Maureen and Gina Rose, um, which at the time I was supposed to be like dating Maureen, and so it was part of the storyline, and we kind of like hung out a lot together, so it kind of like looked natural, I guess. And then so what ended up happening was that my faction was the Banshees, or a manager or whatever, and their faction was Big Time Pain, and it was Big Tapa, a guy called Diamond D, who really looked like Diamond Dallas Page, and I'm pretty sure that's why I picked him. Hey, sweetie. Um, Hope you enjoy my story. I know you're at work, so you might not get a chance to. Um, what was it? Oh, but it was Big Tapa, Diamond D, a guy named Rico, and I'm so quiet. Oh, I don't know why I can never hear out of this thing. I think maybe something's. Um, Hopefully, I'm loud enough. Um, but yeah, so then it was the faction of Big Time Pain and my faction, and so we had been feuding for a little while, and like there was a couple of matches that like kind of led up to um, me being in a match, and I think something ended. I can't remember. Something ended up happening with Big Tapa, and because he was the champion, and Diamond D somehow won like the opportunity, like the number one contender to be the champion. And so something happened with our factions. I don't know. It's some stuff that I don't really remember. I just remember there was kind of a big thing. I need more volume. Hold on, let me see if I can turn this up. Hold on. Okay. Does that sound better? It seems like that would be better. Here we go. Okay. I'll just start over. Because, I mean, I'm not sure if anybody was able to hear that. Um, but yeah, so there was the faction of Big Time Pain, which is Big Tapa, Diamond D, Rico, and then another guy. That's the one I was trying to remember, and I can't think of. Um, and I didn't write it down because he wasn't really part of the story. But it was their faction, and then my faction. Okay, good. That's better. So and then my faction, which was the Banshees, and that's is actually more girls, way better. Okay, and that was Maureen, who I was supposed to be dating at the time, in that, and then her partner, which was Gina Rose. And so I was kind of like the manager, but I'm a wrestler, so kind of like I accompany the ring and stuff. Um, Let me turn this down because it echoes in my head. Um, but yeah, so then I go with them like down to the ring when they have their matches and stuff like that. And then I got in a feud with one of the one of the guys in big time pain, and it's like kind of they're like, well, there's a faction, so they're gonna come after me and stuff like that. And so yeah, so then Big Top is the champion, and Diamond D just got like some sort of like opportunity, like he won a match that basically gave him the number one contendership. And then, hey chairman, telling another wrestling story. So you made it to the beginning of this one. I'm just kind of giving like some backstory on like some of the people that I wrestled with. And so basically, Diamond D got a number one contender for Big Tapa's championship, right? And so then I was in a feud with them, and something happened, and like one of them, um, like Diamond D tried to challenge me for because we had feuded a lot, like me and Diamond D, even when he wasn't part of Big Time Pain. And so then it brought in, um, they scheduled it. Hey Mike G, you made it just to the very beginning. So I get a kind of like a match into their with Diamond D and Big Tapa, and so Diamond basically like challenges me, and I become part of a triple threat, and it's them two against me. And so I mean it's supposed to be a triple threat, but they're both on the same team, and Big Top is like looking to keep his championship, and him and Diamond kind of they'll get in arguments and stuff like that, but it's nothing like really at that point. So when the match, like we were gonna have the match that day, um, like normally we have like just there's just doors, like the double doors to like a gym, and you kind of just open the door and walk through. But what they did for us was they had like these fence. They kind of made like a little cage, and then they just hung like black cloth. Because I wasn't canvas. It's just like regular cloth or something. Not really sure. But basically, they just like cut a slit in the middle, so like you could push the slide, the cloth to the sides and walk through. And then on the day of the championship match, hey Danny Reese, just starting on my entrance here. So Big Tapa and Diamond they came in together because since they're part of the same faction, they came into their music, which we used to use like actual songs because we were like a small company thing, and they just like put the little karaoke machine and would like blast the speakers out. So they came into like Megadeth or something like that, um, and it was kind of like a fast song. So they came in, and like Big Tapa's got his belt, but he's kind of holding it in his hand. So they like both run and do that like slide into the ring, and so they get in and they do their thing. They go to the corners, like Big Papa's holding up his belt and stuff, and it goes for like a minute, like they're like doing whatever, and then like they're hey, checking me out or stuff, and then they turn around back to like the entrance, whatever, and I come like my little music hits, and then I come out and I try to do like my like walk to the ring strut, whatever, like I'm gonna take on two guys that are like way bigger than me, um, but I'm like it's obvious like they're gonna kick my ass because they're both huge. Like Big Tapa was like 6'11", he's like basically 7 feet, you know. And then Diamond was like 6'4", no, no, he was 6'2", so he was pretty tall too. Like so these are like two big guys, and here in El Paso, it's not like a normal thing. We're usually like I think 5'8", 5'10" is like maybe the average for somebody that's taller here. Um, so then I kind of do my little strut and like do my walk to the ring, and then as I'm getting into the ring, they both just run over and then like start like stomping me on the ground and just beating the crap out of me, like I haven't even gotten in the ring, like climbed in, and then so they're beating me up for a bit, and then Diamond picks me up and like swings me at the ropes, and then so I go and I bounce off the ropes and I'm coming back, and they both go to like do an elbow, but I'm like so short compared to them that I just kind of like duck a little bit and go under. And then so I bounce off the other side of the ropes, and they kind of get down to one knee like as a joke, and then like do the elbow back, and then they get me anyway. So I end up like falling down. And hey, Broken Mike, you're right at the beginning of my story. Um, so I just got in. They start kicking my ass, and then throw me in the ropes, and then yeah. So I'm just so short that they like miss me, and then they like just kneel down to one knee and like hit me like coming back the other way. And then so after that, like they like keep stomping me some more, and Diamond picks me up to my feet again, and then like gives me a couple of shots, and he hit me like in the neck, like you're trying to, you know, like just punch and stuff. And I'm doing pretty good, Danny. Um, so hopefully you're doing pretty good. Uh, and then so he gives me a couple of shots, and then and like kind of like scoops me up, and then because Big Top is still like down on the knee, he drops me and gives me like a backbreaker on the like Big Toppa's knee. So like they're obviously like teaming up on me because it's them too, and then me, and then so I kind of roll onto my stomach, and I'm like holding my back, and what you call it, Diamond gets down and like gets me in like a one-legged crab, and he's like kind of like really like working it there, and I kind of reach over, and I just I can barely I get a hold of the rope, so the ref starts telling him like you have to let him go because he's like rope break, and as he starts arguing with him, like Big Top starts like hey start arguing with him, and Diamond's still trying to like just work my leg for a bit, like just get in the last few seconds, and then the ref turns around and like is like hey you have to let him go, and he's like hey man, and, like you know yeah, like you always see the like wrestler like, oh, I wasn't doing anything, and so I start using the ropes, and I like kind of propping myself up, and I give Big Top a forearm, and it's just like, eh. And so he kind of like moves a little, and I keep like trying to give him like a couple more, and right after that, like as I'm hitting him, like Diamond just comes up and like gives me a hammer like right in the back of the head, and so um so he like reaches down and to like grab my leg, and hello in the lap of nature. Welcome to the stream. I'm just telling my story of wrestling. Hope you're doing great. Same to you. So he yeah, so he reaches down to grab my leg because I'm like down after he hits me, and I'm able to like kick him with my other foot, and as I kick him, he goes into Big Toppa, and like they both kind of crash towards the floor, and like Toppa goes down, and so I get up, and Diamond's like stumbled, he's like kind of just crashed in, and the Toppa's down, and so I hit Diamond a couple times, and then I give him a quick stomp. Excuse me. So I give him like a couple hits and like knock him down, and then I give him a stomp on like and with the ropes, and then I'm trying to do an elbow, and so doing good. It's still at work. Um, so I try to give him an elbow, and I'm pretty sure I missed him. I, uh, oh no, that's where he was. Hold on, I'm getting lost in my. I wrote down my story so I'd remember where I was, and I'm like, I already lost myself. Um. So okay, that's where it is. Yeah. So Toppa's down, and Diamond. So Diamond didn't fall. It was like I thought he didn't fall. I was pretty sure. Um. And so I managed to kick. So I did manage to kick Diamond, and I grab him, and then I'm able to give him a DDT like when he leans forward, And so Big Tapa comes at me, and then I give him a kick because he's like already gotten up, because he kind of just got like knocked down, but then gets up and starts coming at me, and I managed to give him a kick, and like I have to give it to Big Tapa because he was like he really sold like the fact because I mean he's like huge and like even bending down I still have to like kind of reach up to like get around him. But when I go for like the DDT, like I kind of jump a little, like so that I can and bring it back, and he kicks his legs up, and like just really sells it like head like right into the floor. Um, so I mean not the Rock selling the Stone Cold Stunner like that exaggerated, but it was like it looked like really cool, and so like both of them are down from like I gave them DDTs and stuff, and I was like it felt really good because of like to see like me like this little small guy taking on the two big guys and they're both down and like I tried to like to go for the pin, but as I have Big Tapa down and I'm like pinning him, like they get to 1 2 and then I feel like the stomp in the back of my back, and then so I roll off of him, and as I'm there, that's when Daimon gives me the like a stomp, and then he wrote like kind of leans back on the rope, and then goes to give me an elbow, but I managed to move out of the way, and so he's there on the ground, and he's like starting to hold his arm, and he's like trying to get up, and he's like holding it, and and then as I'm starting like to move to get up, Big Tapa just bam like kind of kicks me in the side, and so I go, I kind of start moving off and trying to get out of the way, but he picks me up and he's like ready to give me a choke slam. So he's like got me, he's like ready to go up, but I like kind of like managed to kick him, and he stumbles back a little bit, and I think I'm safe, but then Diamond comes and he like holds me up like kind of like a full Nelson, so I'm like up like that and waiting for them to like come and hit me. So then Big Tapa comes and he starts like just giving me a couple punches and then like gives me a left, and then he like winds up like he's gonna give him a like the just a haymaker. So he goes and he goes like that, and I move out of the way and he swings and he just like um, takes Diamond out just bam, like, and so Diamond goes to the floor. And then as he's looking like like oh hey I missed it, and he's down on the floor like kind of like there, I run behind him and I hit the ropes, and I come back, and I have to give it to him because it was probably like the worst bulldog like ever, but I managed to get him and get him again face first into the floor, and so I get him and I'm like, and I climb up on the ropes and I'm like I'm already exhausted. I'm like the match hasn't even, it doesn't even seem like that long, but I mean my brain probably condensed about 10 minutes into like 5, just from what I remember. Um, and I'm sure some more stuff happened, but like I have like the major points and like I try to connect. Okay, I probably punched him and did this. Um, so then when I get up on the ropes, I was gonna try to turn around and like do an elbow or do something, but I like had no energy, and I just kind of like threw myself back and like get him with the elbow, and I got Big Topper right in the chest, and boo Minion, boo Minion, boo Minion, Ian Berg, Ian Berg, Ian Berg #1. Hey gamer Ian, welcome to the stream. Let's see. So yeah, right after I get Big Topper right in the chest, I go for the pin, but he gets his foot on the rope. Like he just kind of like kicks his foot because his like legs are so long, and we're kind of right there because I didn't jump very far. And so then I get up and and I get up and I see Diamond over there, and he's kind of doing the like the don't hurt me, like get away. Um, and then he like as he's doing that, I'm like coming towards him, and then he just starts like hitting me, like a couple forearms and stuff. And then he slams me down. But when he sees Tapa like get up, um, he goes over to him and he's like starts arguing with him like, hey man, he's like, you hit me in the face. And like so they're kind of like more pantomiming, I guess you could say. So he's like, hey, and he's like, and he's pointing at me like that. He's pointing at me and stuff like that, and they're like just arguing. And Big Top was like pointing back, like, hey, you hit me over there, like, and knocked me down. And so the ref starts like trying to like, hey, like guys break it up and stuff. And every time he touches Diamond, Diamond's like, hey, get off me, like and still trying to argue together and stuff like that. And then so he starts shoving the ref and is like, get off of me, like, hey, I'm still, arguing here and stuff. And then finally he just gets upset and um, like hits the ref and like knocks him out of the ring. And then him and Big Top are just like, going back and forth, just swing after swing, like just trading blows. And then after a second, like Big Top gets the advantage and just tosses him over the top rope. So Diamond goes out, and when as he's going out, I'm already up, and I'm running over there, and I'm like, I'm gonna get him because he's like distracted, but he catches me with a kick to the stomach, and then I go down, so he gets me, and then he gets me up for his finishing move, and it's called the Big Time Pain. But basically, what he does, he gets me up like if he was doing a power bomb, but instead of going like up the middle here, he goes over to the side and then holds you there. So like I'm kind of on my back like that, like on his shoulder, and he just starts like kind of doing like a torture rack, and he does that like for a few seconds, and then like right when I guess he feels like you're gonna like not necessarily submit, he like pops you up, and then just like and then slams you down like he would a power bomb, but he doesn't let go, and then just like puts his arms over like to pin you. And so he does that, he gets it, and he gets me down. And when he pins me, he's like sitting there like or like just there like waiting, and then he starts looking around because the ref's outside like on the floor, and he's like, what the hell? But because of like how he's hunched down, he's kind of like almost on his knees, and so he just like drops me and like lets me go and like turns over to like the ropes that are over here, and he looks outside, and he can see the ref like off to the side, and then he turns this way, and Diamond came with the belt and just bam like hits him right across the head. So Big Toppa falls down into the ring, and then Diamond climbs in and gets me and just throws me on top, and then he goes and gets outside and he gets the ref and and pulls him inside, and the ref's all down like that. So he grabs his arm and just does the 3 count, and then he grabs the belt and just chucks it at us, and then uh I had the championship. So it was it was just the weirdest like way to like get it, and then I didn't hold it for very long. Like it was a Friday. It was a Friday when I won it, and then that Monday, it was Monday, yeah, or no, it was Friday, and then on Sunday, we had another match, and I lost the belt to Diamond, so he ended up becoming champion after that. So, does anybody have any questions? um, I don't know. I hope you all enjoyed this story. I don't know. It was interesting. It was nice to become champion for at least a couple days. So, any questions? I know Hannah had some, but I think she might be busy. She told me she had asked me about my favorite storyline, and that was kind of it. I'd been feeding with those guys, and that kind of led to me being the champion for a couple of days, because they wanted to transfer the belt from Big Top of the Diamond, but since they were on the same faction, they wanted to see a way to do it that wasn't like, I guess, too convoluted. I don't know. To me, it was convoluted to do that, but um, yeah, I don't know. Um, I know I did have a question. They get a question of like why I was writing all this stuff down. Hey Simon, hello. But the reason I was writing these down was because I was trying to remember like some of the stories and stuff like that. I hadn't really thought about it for like the longest time. Did I get to keep the belt for those 2 days? I was technically champion, but you didn't get to take the belt home. Uh, so yeah, we didn't get to keep the belt because it was technically the company's belt, so they just you just had it there. And whenever we had the matches, the like Big Top, I never got to take it home. He just got there, and they would give him the belt like when he's gonna go out. My worst gimmick was probably the first one. I was supposed to be Mason Dawn, and I was kind of like they built the whole thing over like the sun, and so I wear these like ugly like yellow orange, kind of almost mustard colored tights, and they had like sun. Well, they were king's crown, like the pointy crowns, but they tried to make it seem like it was they were supposed to be sun because I was borrowing them from a guy that was called El Rey, which was like basically in Spanish is the king. So he had like king tights, and I had to borrow them, and then so that's when like they made it like a whole thing, and I was supposed to do like some sunrise splash or some kind of crazy move, um, but I could never pull it off. So they tried to find a different like thing for me, and then that's how I ended up kind of become the minion, I guess. How heavy were the belts? I wouldn't say they were like too heavy. Like the the metal part, I guess, like the whole gold of it or whatever was like maybe about that big. Um, it's kind of was kind of almost like a high school wrestling belt, like the championship belts, I guess that they have like um, yeah, like it wasn't too big. It only had the one piece in the middle and then like two squares off on the sides. Um, which I don't remember who was on the squares. I think it was just like the like names of counties or something like that. But in the middle, it kind of had like lettering all around, like the El Paso wrestling. Um, and then in the middle was just like two guys like doing the like almost a high school wrestling kind of pose, like gonna go after each other. Um, but it was all in that like fake gold, and I think they ended up paying like $200 to get it made because it was like actual leather, but it was kind of like blackened, like the darker brown leather. Um, I'd say, hmm, I'm like I don't know if you have guys have like gallons of milk or just like the you know so, but yeah, it was like a little bit heavier than like you know what did I say, like 2 liter bottle of soda or something. So yeah, it was like about that heavy. Best gimmick was Minion, right? And what was your outfit like for wrestling as the Minion? When I was the Minion, I had black like cargo pants, um, and then just a white sleeveless shirt. So it's funny because the one that I have in Broken Mics in BUW is like it's pretty much kind of the my opening or my character at that point. I had black cargo pants and then a white sleeveless shirt, and it was just a basic white sleeveless shirt. And I would do my face, but it was just basically white with black circles and then like black nose, and that was it. Like I didn't really do teeth. How did you get into wrestling? I actually one of my friends, like back then, they used to go to the rec center, and that's where like they had the wrestling and stuff like that. And the rec center itself had like you could take classes in karate, you could like do all kinds of stuff. You could take a pottery class or something like that, and there was like a like sign up sheets like there, and I thought it was gonna be like just a couple of guys like we're just gonna kind of do wrestling like almost the high school wrestling, which I didn't make. I didn't make the high school wrestling team or anything like that, and so that's what I thought it was. I mean, it pretty much is still like from the way that it felt was like some guy had money and just decided like, hey, like come do this and we'll give you like $50, you know. And it's like, here, you do this like twice a week, we give you $50, and it's like, okay. It's like I didn't have a job or anything like that. I just went to school. Um, but yeah, one of my friends took me to the rec center one day, and I just saw the sheet and was like, oh yeah, well, why not? And then that friend used to take me like on occasion because I didn't drive. I actually didn't drive until maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and this was like 20 something odd years ago. Um, but yeah, like um, it was an interesting like situation, I guess, like because I went into it and like the guy's like, yeah, we're gonna train, we're just gonna like stick you with these other guys. Um, just make sure when you do this, like tuck your head, make sure, they kind of just taught you the basics of like, don't do this and you won't hurt yourself. And that was like the extent of our training. Like you kind of would just go in, um, you'd go to like a weight room sometimes with the guys and stuff like that. But you weren't like, it wasn't like a contract thing, like, hey, you have to go and lift weights like once a week or something like that, or like twice a week. It was just like, just make sure you don't hurt yourself. And then, um, you know, the guy would give us money basically out of what they sold in Coke and popcorn. Um, and then we pretty much only did like a couple matches a week. Let's see, you ever been to a WWE event? I did. I went one time because we have a coliseum in Las Cruces, which is like in the next state over, but it's like basically this next town over. And my sister took me to one of those. Um, but we just sat in the seats, and I kind of, to be honest, I kind of don't like being at the actual like events because there's people with signs and things like that, and I'm short, and I'm like I can't see, and like I feel like I'm farther away than if I was like watching it on TV. So it's kind of weird, like, and for us, it's not like when you see like, oh, they're out of like Toronto, they're out of Phoenix or something like that, and you have all the pyro and everything like that. It's like no, it's like it's almost the same level as like to us, like just a house show, you know. So I mean, I like the wrestling and stuff like that of it, and but the fact that I couldn't really see anything like kind of ruined part of it for me, I guess. So I mean, for us, there's nobody with signs. I'm like, I think the most people I ever wrestled in front of was like 30 or 40. Um, Not to include the like flea market thing that we did at one point, which I don't know how many people would have gone by, but people were shopping, so like occasionally they would look and be like, "What the hell is this?" and then stay for a few minutes and then like take off. So we just kind of had like we had simple matches at that point. We didn't do anything like too spectacular, like oh guy off of the turnbuckle, like, but we weren't building anything for a story there. And that's kind of like what ended up happening there too, is that you couldn't really build a story because the somebody you saw like one week may not be there the next week, or they may not be there at the next show. So it's kind of like, uh, I guess for the televised stuff for like WWE, like when they do house shows, they don't build story or anything like that. At least like not too much. It's basically they're just going off of the story that's available until they do another televised event. So um, yeah, other than that, I, I I would like to maybe go to another one, but now with the whole pandemic thing and all this other stuff, I'm not sure I have like a desire to. Um, but I guess if nobody else, have you ever been in a barbed wire match? No. I unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure. Was not in one because I couldn't have like real injuries that would like show because I was kind of hiding it. So have I been in an Inferno match? No. The most I was in was a ladder. I had the leather strap match. I didn't do a kendo, and most of the time I did like cage matches or like not the cage, but the one where it's just the fence around. I guess we still call them cage matches. Um, and then I've been in steel cage ones, but they don't like have the fence on the top. It's just the fence that goes around and like kind of is connected to the ring. That's about it. And that one I fell off of, like the trying to climb out of the ring or the cage, which I wasn't supposed to be doing. I wasn't supposed to like. I think I talked about that the last time. And then the craziest bump. That's actually the one that you were asking me about last time, Mike G, which is the steel cage. I was climbing out, and I wasn't. It wasn't like climb over the top or go through the door and then you win. It was just I was trying to get away, and so I climbed over the top, and then so will Ian Berg ever beat you a day? There's always a chance. But yeah, I climbed over the top, and then I got my pant leg stuck in the fence because it wasn't like I don't know. I don't know if they're specially made or anything. Um, normally, but it was basically just a fence, like a normal fence you would see on somebody's house. And so like there was the parts where like little things stick out of the side, like where they tie them up or something. So when you climbed over, like the bar for the metal bar that goes across the top, like kind of just bent down a little, and so my leg got stuck in one of those like little hook things of like the intertwining fence. And so as I was trying to climb down the other side, my leg was still stuck, and it was like up in the. I was like, okay, so I was like trying to like shimmy myself free, but when I got my leg out, I just kind of like I don't know what like made me let go, and I just fell, and I landed like just on the floor, which we have like the gym mats thing like around the ring, but that was it. I just went straight, hit the floor, and was like, "Phew," and had like all the air knocked out of me, and then there was the our stairs. Like I landed like maybe like a less than a foot from our stairs, but we don't have those like big metal ones that they have like on TV. We just had like these like wooden blocks. It's basically like one just big wooden block that's like steps. It's like two steps, and that's how you're up in the ring. But I don't know. I hope you all enjoyed the story. If you didn't get to catch it, you can go back and watch it. It's also just kind of interesting. What were your goals with wrestling? Honestly, I was just trying to have fun, but I was also trying to hide it because I didn't know it was going to be like as involved as it was. Um, I wasn't like necessarily like really strong. I just kind of had like somewhat of an athletic ability, I guess. Um, and I just thought of like I'm gonna go into wrestling and see what happens. I guess I don't. I had like no like I'm gonna go to the WWE or anything like that. Will you accept my challenge, Minion versus Ian Berg ladder match? I will. You have to get with Broken Mike to set that up. Low Streamlabs. All right. Who has the most dabs? But yeah, yeah, Mike G. I had no real goal in what I was doing. I was just kind of like, it's kind of like when you join the like, neighborhood softball team or whatever like that. You're not trying to be like world champion softball or some baseball or anything like that. You just kind of do it to have fun with like other people and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I was going towards. It was really interesting that like so there were some people that I did get to see like not like all the time, but like here and there, and they would like, oh hey, and then like hey, let's get an autograph and stuff like that or stuff like that. But I wasn't usually the one, you know, that people came to for like autographs and stuff. They go to like Big Top or like the other like bigger guys that would like do all the like the crazy moves and stuff like that. I was just I was there mostly to like what do they call it, enhancement talent. So I would build I would build someone else up by like having them beat me, but like I had to be, I guess, good enough. What do you mean hide it like he was hurt? No, I was trying not to let my family know that I was doing it, because it would have been it probably wouldn't have gone well. Like Meowjid now would probably not be happy if that's what I was doing, and I would be like sneaking out and going like, hey, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to my friend's house, um, you know, and so that's kind of more what I was doing. So if I got hurt like in a way that you could like physically see, like like what's that cut, you know, it's like, oh, I must have bumped into something, you know. You can only fall down the stairs so many times, I guess. You know, I walked into a door. Like, um, the good thing is that, like, yeah, the way when you normally like hit each other, you're not trying to like cause like a physical bruise or anything like that. It's like it's still, how can I say, like if you're like messing around with somebody, you're like, oh, you could fall and or hurt yourself, like stuff like that. But hello, Quattro Mom. Welcome to the stream. Um, yeah, you kind of just don't want people worrying about you, and then like I wouldn't say over excessively, but like to where they make you stop doing something. Because like at first I kind of just was like, oh, whatever, but I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed having the wrestling. If the boy took an interest and wanted to take up wrestling, would you let him do it? I would consider it. I don't know about her. I would be mad considering you're supposed to not supposed to get hurt, but after the boy's 19, you can go for it. I'll be too old. I'm not Ric Flair. Um, yeah, I would consider it, but I know Majid's like, she's like, no football, none of these things that'll hurt him. Um, that's her baby, and so he'll sneak out with me. Now, if he has an interest, I'll support him, but at the same time, I'm not gonna shove him into that. There's no. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think from my standpoint, I understand the. Speaking of which, the boy made his debut on BW this week. Oh, that's awesome! I'll have to watch the one and make sure I watch that. Um, I forgot what to say. Oh no, like I understand, like from like my experience and stuff like that, that it can be a lot of fun. It can be a lot of work, um, and there's a lot that you can get out of it. But at the same time, there's a lot that it can get out of you. I guess if that makes sense. Um, I don't know. I think it took a long time after I got injured, and I consider that my last match, even though it technically wasn't. Um, but I like to think that I went out on a bang. That sounds terrible. Because like that was like where things happen. Yeah, he's got to want to do it. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Um, yeah, I consider it the last one, but the very last one was technically just a squash match because I was in no condition to be doing that. I basically just, what is it? I Kofi'd it, just 2 seconds down, and then that was it. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and that's where I just chose to like leave. And yeah, indeed, wrestling is taxing. Yeah. So you kind of think of how much it is, um, physically, like, oh, it's a lot of work and all that stuff, but they don't really tell you how mentally taxing it is, I guess. Um, because after I got injured, like, I didn't want, and after that match, I didn't want anything to do with wrestling, like, for like the longest time. Like, it's funny because I Was any of your matches ever recorded? I don't think so. There might be someone with like a home video thing, but there wasn't like how you see like smaller circuits and stuff like that, independent wrestling, and then like they have the grainy video or something like that, or somebody want like tape the matches like all the time or something like that. It was just like we kind of also never really knew where we were gonna be at. Like we wrestled at one rec center down, not down the street, but like not that far from us. And then there's one like that's on the other side of town. We did one at a flea market one time. We actually got in a like auditorium type thing for like one of the things, but there wasn't that many people to justify the auditorium that we got. And then we did like a couple sort of out of town, and like how I said, like Las Cruces is the town over, that's the state over. That's like that's far. It's only like 30 miles. Or what year was it, sweetie? Um, I started June, June or July of let's say it's 96 because it was like right before my sophomore year, and then I stopped. How did you get injured? Okay, Dad. Oh, Mike G, if you watch the one that I did right before that, I explain very terribly, but I explain what ended up happening in the ladder match that I had. That's the one that I did last week. But yeah, that was I'm gonna say like January, February of '99, because it was like right in my senior year, so it stopped right at the end. Like it was almost the beginning of my high school to end of high school, like kind of during that time. Um, and then after that, yeah, like I didn't really want too much to do with wrestling after that. And then when I ended up moving, I didn't have cable or anything, so like I was like, oh, well, I just don't watch it. And when I came back, like when I was first in the band, they would watch wrestling like all the time, and I was like, I don't care. And they tried to get me into it, and I watched like I think a couple Royal Rumbles or something like that, just because it was cool to see like some of the old wrestlers. Like, hey, here comes Finlay, or I don't know, like some old wrestlers and stuff like that. But yeah, like right around the time of John Cena coming into everything, I was like, that's when I was like out the door, and I was like, I just had no desire. And then I heard they went PG or something like that too, and so I was just kind of like, well, there's no blood and all this stuff, and I'm like, it's not really any reason to watch it on TV. Like that was part of the Attitude Era, and everybody's like, oh, that's the greatest era. And so I was like, wrestling to me is like wrestling. It's like all about the story, like building up. It's like it just has to continue on, and I don't know. Some things are like really good storylines, and it's like some things you're like, what the hell are they doing? And I think that's where we get into like sometimes. Um, but what should I say? Oh yeah, but yeah, if you watch the last one that I did, yeah, I explain it better. But yeah, I fell off. I guess fell with the ladder. I don't know. You'll if you watch that one, you'll understand. It's really confusing because it's a 6-man tag match, and it's just I tried to do like a diagram just so I could keep track of everything, and I think it just made it worse. How long did it take to start watching again? Um, Mike, when did BEW start? I don't know. When Broken Mike added me to BEW, that's basically 20 something years. And I start watching it now here and there. But that after starting to watch it, I went back and started watching the whole WWE network, and so now that's why I'm like really pissed about the whole like they moved to Peacock and like they don't have any of my shows. Um, so um, when I came back and I watched like a couple Royal Rumbles with my bandmates, it was still a little difficult, but I mean it was cool just like watching the whole spectacle of like to me Royal Rumble I think is like cooler than WrestleMania. Um, I don't know, it's probably like blasphemy saying that, but I don't know. To me it is. It's just like I like seeing all the cool people. So yeah, so 2019, so 1999 to 2019, it's like yeah, 20 years. So basically 20 years I just didn't watch really. And when I first came back, I think the I watched the Greatest Royal Rumble or something like that, the one where they had 40, and then like one other one, and I was just didn't really watch it till BW. So I don't know. But yeah, if you guys enjoy these stories, I'm gonna try to see if I can remember more stuff. I just kind of picked the ones. Yeah, how is Peacock in the US? I hate it. Right, their my navigation is terrible. It's worse than the WWE network was, and that's saying something. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do some more stories. I kind of just picked things that like are like the big memories that I have. I don't remember actually everything that happened in like that one match because I mean it's just impossible. But I remember like here's the key point of this happened, this happened, this happened, and I try to build them into like a story of like I know this happened, and I know this happened, and maybe I punched or kicked him or something, and that you know that builds it into this and like because I think the match that I had for this triple threat match was like maybe 15 minutes. But like me telling you like what happened in it, it just seems like maybe like 8 minutes. Like it doesn't really seem that long, but like when you're on the ground and you're like, they're like counting and stuff like that or stuff like that, you don't really aren't able to tell. And like 30 minutes or whatever will go like that. I don't even know how long the ladder match was. I was out like near the end of it, so yeah, you guys still have network over there. Yeah, I'm like, it's kind of annoying over here because I'm like, I want to watch my shows, but they won't even let us pay for like the WWE network here. They're just like, no, your guys are over in Peacock now. It's like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And I kept seeing the ads for it, and I was like, why would I watch that over there if I already have it here? So I don't know, it's just annoying. But I'll try to come up with more of my memories. I don't know. But I just picked things that are like big things in my head, and I was like, okay, I remember this happened, and I remember this happened, and I remember this happened. There might be like a whole match that I only remember like two things of it, um, and I'm hoping I can, you know, like just stir up my memory a little bit. I had never really even considered that I would be thinking about those things again, so it's kind of pleasing to me that I remember as much as I do. And Meowjit even says that like some of the things I remember, like just playing video games, she's like, "How the hell do you remember all this stuff?" And it's like I have a good memory for certain things, and other things I could in one ear out the other. So, but thank you so much, everyone, for coming in and listening to my story. If you didn't listen to, or you caught it kind of in the middle or something like that, go ahead back and just watch it. I kind of get a little distracted because I'm trying to like pay attention to you guys and stuff. Um, I'll see if I get a little better. But I really just enjoy like having you guys there and being able to like share this with you that I kind of just held kept hidden for so long, and wasn't really sure what like who am I gonna like give these stories to and things like that. So I really appreciate it. And if you, I do have some on my other channel, which I'm gonna probably migrate over here. And this is awesome, sweetie. Oh, thank you. Um, it's it's something that like it's been bottled in me and been fun. Minion. Thank you. Um, so I really want to bring those stories. I want to like see if I can, um, you know, now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I need to remember more. Um, and it's just it's so nice to be able to share this with you guys. So I'll try to get some more stories together, um, and I do write them down just so that I I don't get lost, even though it still kind of happens. But I mean, that's the part of sharing it with you guys. And like I like to go a little deeper into certain things that I wrote down. So Gamer Ian said, "Thank you, Minion. Thank you, Minion. Thank you." And thank you, Gamer Ian. And then Broken Mike said, "This was awesome, bro. Thank you so much for these stories. Really appreciate it." And again, I appreciate all of you. I'll try to get some more of these for you. And if you guys are able to make it, Um, I appreciate it when you can sit here with me and indulge in these stories along with me. And if you can, I understand. You know, everybody's busy and stuff like that. Um, just if you are able to listen to them or anything like that, you know, just drop me some questions or anything that you have, because sometimes I don't even know what you guys want to know about, like what happened, like, and it's really interesting being able to like give you guys like a little bit of insight to like what I went through, you know, as opposed to like somebody that went into like NXT or like one of those kind of things, or like the bigger name brands and stuff like that, or just independent wrestling in general. But thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here because I know Mel is probably hungry and she's gonna get hangry in a minute. And I just I'm not sure what else I could say that, like, you know, of how much I appreciate all you guys. So, and hey Michelle, you caught like the end. You can go back and watch and see how much I appreciate all of you. But yeah, I can't say much more about like how much it all means to me that I'm able to share this with you. So that's why I'm definitely going to try to get more. So this has been Versus the Game. I'm the Minion. Peace.